Hi, Reading Adam here with you this morning. Pretty early in the morning, just getting ready for work. But what I wanted to talk about was just a quick point that dawned upon me yesterday about self-help books. So the point is this. One thing I've noticed lacking in self-help books is they don't tend to talk about the importance of anger. Anger at yourself. It's almost like if you read a self-help book, they don't. Ideally, they would never want you angry at yourself ever. Tony Robbins does this. Like if you ever have negative thoughts, or if you have a flash of anger, to quickly switch that emotion. And one example he gave in his book was a woman came up to him at his desk and she just started complaining about stuff. And Tony Robbins, it was like, and then he gets up and he says, "Excuse me, we're not ready yet." He looked exactly and sounded exactly like I did just now. And then he said the woman was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like her register, her demeanor completely changed. And he gives an example of how people will be pissed off or whatever, and then a police officer is there, and suddenly they have self-control. He's demonstrating that you do have self-control, like you don't have to let your emotions dictate all your behavior. But sometimes I think an emotion can actually benefit you, particularly one that's traditionally viewed as negative. So, to explain further, another book, Gorilla Mindset by Mike Chernovich, it's the mindset techniques, the things you're telling yourself, the ways you're rewrapping, repackaging phrases you say to yourself. Like you want everything to be like, I'm the man, I'm positive, I'm going to dominate, I'm going to take care of this is going to get done, I'm worth it, stuff like that. I don't think there's a problem with boosting your esteem up if you have a problem with esteem. But sometimes you need to get angry at yourself. And I think self-help books, I haven't really read one that's taken anger and frustration and failure and really told you how to use that in your benefit, how to get angry with yourself. Because have you ever noticed that when you get really angry about something, really upset about something, it gives you energy? It gives you energy that you use to just get stuff done. Have you ever sat in front of a phone and you have to make cold calls and you're just frozen? You can't do it. You're scared. You're afraid. You're procrastinating, but you can't get off your seat. You can't go do something else until you make a phone call. And that's quite difficult to do. But if you eventually work yourself up into being angry with yourself at your failure of not being able to do a simple task that shouldn't be fearful, to just get it over with, the anger will push you to do that. Anger at yourself, not anger at the phone, not anger at the need to do a cold call, not anger at your boss for whatever reason, but anger at yourself for not following through with the task at hand. So anger can make you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. Next thing you know, you're making the phone call, you're angry, you hate this person you're calling, but then you make the call, you get the voicemail, you put it down, you make the next call, you push yourself, you keep making calls. Before you know it, you're not really angry anymore, but you're in a state of flow, you're in the zone. You're exhilarated because you've conquered a fear, and that's a great feeling. Doesn't mean you'll be Magic Man, cold caller next time, but it did something. It made you do something. Have you ever gotten angry at the state of your house, like if it's a complete mess, and you just get so angry at yourself because, and I don't mean like you want to Like you want to throw things around. You're super angry. But I mean, you feel genuine anger at your own lack of tidiness, your own lack of getting your house in order. Excuse me. Sorry. Pardon me. It is early in the morning here, so my throat area must be feels a little bit clogged up from whatever. But so that's stuff that you gotta think about. You gotta consider. So you get really angry at yourself about the state of your house, and then before you know it, you're cleaning it, and you're cleaning it with energy, vigorously. Now, this energy it's not going to stay with you for even a full hour, right? Most of the time, it's just enough energy that pumps you up and gets you just moving, geared up. Stress does the same thing. When you feel really stressed out, some things Tony Robbins does are actually quite helpful. When you feel very stressed, think of it as your body's energizing for whatever you're going to deal with right now. So if you're really stressed out about your financial situation, you might use that in combination with anger to start applying for jobs and making phone calls and maybe even leaving your house and going knocking on doors. Like, you got to work yourself up into a state of invincibility, a state of lack of fear. Because a lot of the modern day things that we got to deal with, fear is going to get in the way. Fear gets in the way of so many things in my own life, probably gets in the way of most things in your life. Probably, if you could track it, most of your mediocrity and failures come back to some kind of fear, failure to take the initiative. And anger will help you overcome that. Anger will do that more effectively than positivity. Let me say that again. Anger will more effectively get you to overcome fear than positivity. Everybody's writing about positivity, have the proper mindset, have the millionaire mindset, have this, think of yourself as the bomb, think of yourself as this great, big, wonderful person who's going to really make a difference. You're the king, you're the boss, man. You're the best, you're the best, you're the best. You're lying to yourself when you're doing that, right? You can say those things to yourself all the time, day after day after day after day after day. But what do we call people like that? We call them crazy. They're delusional. They've got a mental disorder, right? Something like that. You're lying to yourself when you're doing that stuff. No, I lack the skill. I lack the initiative. I have too much fear. I'm not confident. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. And then people kind of fall back on their level of mediocrity. So, anger, my friends. Use anger the next time you recognize you're not making good decisions in your life. You're not as wise as you think you are. You're actually the primary cause of failure in your life. Get angry about that. Get angry. And use that anger. I don't want to say use that anger for positivity. No. Use that anger to make yourself do that thing that you're angry about. Whether it's looking for a job, whether it's confronting a boss, whether it's finally writing your resume, finally writing a cover letter that's just like, look, hey, I've got the experience. Let's do this. Or, not to that effect, but I really like the resumes or the cover letters from Bob Bly's book, Copywriter's Handbook. At the end, he actually has some useful, interesting, persuasive cover letters. Now, his cover letters were primarily for copywriting work. Well, they were exactly for copywriting work. But I like his layout. It could easily be applied to any other job, where it's like, you're looking for somebody with, experience in this department. Why? I've got this, and this experience, and I can prove to you that I can do just as well by this amount of time, and let me show you my portfolio, and so forth and so on. You got to persuade the boss, whoever's reading that, if anybody's reading it, you got to persuade them that you are actually going to bring value to their company, that you're willing to question these these basic tropes. You're willing to just put yourself out there and say, look, I know you're looking for X, but have you considered Y? And I mean the letter Y. Have you considered Y? Here's the reason why I say that. Rather than I am proficient at Microsoft Word and I would very much love the chance to work with your organization. I have strong people skills and I can multitask and all that BS that literally every human being in the world can do and say about themselves. You got to say something about yourself that nobody else is saying about themselves, applicable to this job. Get angry about that. Get angry about the cover letter, the whole point of the cover letter. Get angry about it and write something in anger and then come back to it later and kind of edit it. Don't send it off right away because maybe you said some insulting things. I don't know. But again, I don't want to keep this as a long video. I could go on and on about this point, but the point is self-help doesn't really talk about the power of anger. And maybe they don't want to be seen as telling people to get angry. But I have found that whenever I've gotten angry about something, really truly angry or upset at myself about something, that does invoke change. That does invoke the desire to do something about it. So tell me your thoughts. What do you think about that? Like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye.